Hey there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Wolters World, and today we're in Hvar, Croatia, one of the beautiful islands here in Croatia on the Dalmatian coast. And today what we have for you are the don'ts of visiting Croatia, because there's some things you're obviously gonna do, like you're gonna go to Split and see Diocletian's palace, and you're gonna go to Dubrovnik and walk the walls, and you're gonna go up to Pula and see the Colosseum up there. But there are things, general cultural things you probably don't want to do when you do come here, so you can have a better time, okay? So let's get started. Now my first don't for you is don't get freaked out when you hear Croatians talking to each other. Look, Croatian's kind of a brusque, loud language, and since we're by the sea, when we're by the sea, people get loud and boisterous. I kind of look at Croatian kind of like the sound is the brusqueness of German, like the rah rah rah, but then it has they have the emphasis and the energy of the Italians when they go. So sometimes it seems like they're getting into a little bit of a spat when it is just two friends being like, "Hey, how you doing? I'm great. How are you?" So it is one of those things, and I've seen a few tourists, give the like, "What the hell was that?" look when the Croatians start talking. So I just want to give you a heads up for that. Now my second don't for you is if you do get to talk to the Croatians, try to avoid talking about the war with Serbia in the early 90s, the war for independence, or the last war, depending on how they call it, because it still is really, it still touched a lot of people's lives here in Croatia, some families more than others, so you don't know how a touchy of a subject it is. So I just kind of suggest avoiding it. If they bring it up to talk about it, that's fine, but just one of those things you'd probably be better to wait and maybe not talk about too much when you are here, okay? Also, that leads into the third thing I'm going to tell you not to do. So don't call Croatia Yugoslavia. Yugoslavia has been gone for a long time now, and it's time to let it go, okay? This is Croatia. They like Croatia. They want to be called Croatians. Stick with it that way. Don't say Yugoslavia. I know my younger crowd watching, that's not as much of an issue because we're used to saying Croatia for 20 years now, but for a lot of people, it still is, "Oh, it's Yugoslavia." No, it's not. Don't call them that. Don't say you're in Yugoslavia. It will not go over well. And going along kind of with that is realize that Croatians are very proud, so my next don't is don't diss anything Croatian when you are here, because people really are super proud of Croatia, of their football teams, of their UNESCO World Heritage Sites, of their islands, of their food, of their a cappella singing, all these kind of things. And it is a beautiful country, well worth checking out, lots of cool stuff, cheap prices, things like that. But you're gonna probably find some stuff that might annoy you when you are here, like the rocky beaches, and sometimes the service isn't super, but it's fine. You might have some issues, but do not bring that up to the Croats, okay? Because the locals don't really like that. But that's kind of like anywhere you go. People don't appreciate the constructive criticism that might be out there, and so here is no different. Now my fifth don't for you, I just saw out here on the beach behind me. Don't expect a comfy lie down on the beaches here in Croatia. Now the beaches are beautiful, the water, look at it, it's crystal clear, and that's a little bay with boats in it, and it's just gorgeous. But the thing is, the beaches here, a lot of times are stone beaches, or they have a lot of pebbles and rocks on them, which makes it a little difficult to get down to. I was down here watching this couple trying to get into the water down here, and the poor girl, it took her like 5 minutes to get down to the beach because the stones were hurting her feet so much. So if you are gonna come, especially with little kids, bring water shoes so you can walk on the rocks and then enjoy it. Because it can get quite painful. I know with my boys, when we were here together a few years ago, it was a lot of tiptoeing and ow, ow, ow. So don't expect a comfy lie on the beach. Make sure you bring those comfy shoes, okay? Now, since you'll be going to the beach, one thing I guess I shouldn't have to mention, but it is important, is don't forget your sunblock and your sun protection and some bug spray, okay? Because the sun here is very intense and it gets very hot here in the summer, okay? Like 35, 40 degrees Celsius, so over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. And it can be kind of dangerous for travelers, so stay hydrated, but also lather up on your SPF, on your sunblock. I have 70 on, okay? So maybe bring a hat too. But also the bug spray. I remember we were here in July, and me and my youngest son, we got eaten alive by the mosquitoes and other bugs, so do be careful with that. Now my seventh don't for you is don't expect to get places quickly in Croatia. Croatia's got this kind of interesting shape because you got the long coastline and then there's a big continental part in there. And the thing is, you're going to take buses and ferries to get around, like to the islands, and buses to go between towns. There's some train lines, but not for everywhere, and they're not always that great. But you could do take buses, and it may look like it's close, but with all the mountainous terrain and islands and stuff like that, it will take you longer to get to certain spots than you expect. Like you look at the map, say, oh, this should be like a 3-hour drive. drive, and it turns out to be a 5-hour drive. And oh, I can get over to that island, and the ferry systems, especially don't expect the ferries to go all the time in the winter months. Okay, in the summer months you'll be able to get anywhere fine, but if you're coming off season, that can be an issue. Now, another thing I want to tell you is don't skip the local museums. Now, I know there's World Heritage sites here and there's amazing history here. You're walking through these towns with the stonework and the little winding streets, and it's just gorgeous. UNESCO World Heritage sites, 7 of them in Croatia. You can go see natural beauty like the Krka Falls and the Lake District, and walking the walls of Dubrovnik and Pula with the cathedral, or not the cathedral, but the Colosseum. There's tons of amazing stuff that's here. However, what I really like as well, aside from that, is the small local museums. Because the people are so proud. I mean, you get great guides, like I'm from Hvar, my family's from Hvar, and I will tell you how great Hvar is. And I don't tell you Split's the best city because I'm from Split. Split is the best city, so I'm not saying anything. They have this pride here, and you see that a lot in some of the smaller museums. A lot of the city museums, we were in Šibenik, and oh my goodness, their city museum was fantastic, showing the history and the pride of the people. So don't just hit the beach and the UNESCO sites. Also go explore some of those smaller museums when you are here, because I found them to be really worthwhile. And kind of going along with that local kind of feels, don't skip the local food. Now you'll see a lot of pizza and pasta and stuff like that all over the place because there's a lot of Italian influence and things like that. But there's a lot of really great food here in Croatia. Yes, we're on the sea, so the seafood is fantastic. The prawns, the mussels, getting the black risotto and stuff like that. Oh, it's so good. Getting the what we always like to get was they call it the fish plate. You just got all kinds of different stuff, sea bass and prawns and oh my God, it's so good. It's so good. You have that, and the meats here as well. So if you like seafood, it's great. If you like meat, it's great. They have these things, and there's tons of salads here as well. So it's a nice variety, so you can mix it up. So don't just think, oh, I'm going to eat my same things every day. No, do explore the local cuisines because there is some pretty good stuff here. Also, you tend to drink the wine here. The beer's okay, but wine's one of their things they're very proud of here. Now, kind of following off that restaurant feel, you may think as, oh, how am I going to pay when I'm here? Well, don't think you can pay in euros, okay? They have the kuna here in Croatia, and they prefer the kuna. You'll actually see signs saying, we do not accept euros. Yes, Croatia is in the European Union, but they don't use the euro, so don't think you can use it. Now, some places like Dubrovnik, you might be able to pay a taxi, or you might be able to pay at a restaurant, but walking the walls in Dubrovnik, the most tourist town in the entire country, you still got to pay in kuna, okay? So don't think you can pay in euros when you're here. Another don't I have for you is when you do go to those restaurants, don't forget to tip. You tip 10% on the bill here in Croatia, just so you know that. Now, my 12th don't for you is don't worry if you don't speak Croatian. Tourists have been coming through Croatia for hundreds of years because, let's be honest, this place is gorgeous, okay? And the thing is their tourist infrastructure is very good for hotels, restaurants, things like that, but also in terms of speaking English. Look, this place is developed for tourism. They're really there for the tourists. You know, all the guides are saying, look, even if you speak German or Spanish, whatever, just speak English with us, it's fine, because most people do speak it a lot, well, especially the younger people really do speak it, and that's going to be your language getting around. So your waiter and things like that, they'll have English menus, no problem. You won't even ask, they'll bring it to you. They'll speak English pretty well, and so that's a really nice thing to do. And my last don't for you for when you come to Croatia is don't pass up a chance. If someone offers you some dried figs and some rakia, the homemade liquor here, don't pass that up, because that's a sign of welcome and hey, come on in, have a drink, let's chat and talk about Croatia and your time here. Anyway, those are kind of my don'ts of Croatia. I hear the boats are getting ready to go, so I probably should get ready to take off myself. If you like videos like this, we put out new videos every Wednesday and Saturday from all over the world. So if you want to learn stuff about Croatia or Canada or China, we got stuff for you there. Anyway, we're also on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and we really appreciate your likes, subscriptions, and we hope you have a good time here in Hvar or wherever you go in Croatia, but don't worry, you will. This place is beautiful. Bye from Hvar, Croatia.